So let's talk about one of the biggest puzzles in AI right now. How do we get these amazing large language models to safely and effectively use our data? Our files, our code, all of our company's internal tools. It's an absolutely critical piece. And today, we're going to dig into a new open standard that's aiming to solve exactly that.
Okay, so let's start with the big question. Why is this so difficult? I mean, you've got this incredibly powerful AI, right? Like Claude or another LLM. But getting it to connect to your own world, your local files, your databases, your company's APIs, it's just surprisingly messy. It really feels like it should be simple, but it's just not.
And here's the messy reality of it. Right now, it's just this tangled web. For every single tool and every data source, developers have to build these custom one-off integrations. You need a connector for your files? Okay, build one. Another one for your calendar? Build another one. A third for your internal wiki? You get the idea. Each one is its own project. It's totally inefficient, it's brittle, and it just doesn't scale at all.
But what if there was a much, much better way? Well, this is where the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes in. And the goal here is incredibly simple, but really powerful. Create a new, open standard for connecting models to all that context. Just think of it as bringing some much-needed order to all this chaos.
Now, what's really cool is the analogy they use to explain this. The creators of MCP say, think of MCP like a USB-C port for AI applications. And that just clicks, doesn't it? I mean, remember before USB-C, you had that junk drawer full of a dozen different chargers and cables for all your devices? Now we have one standard that just works. That's the exact same vision for MCP.
So let's just put this side by side because the contrast is huge. On the one hand, you've got the old way, tons of different connectors, all these custom integrations, and you get totally locked into a specific provider. But on the other side, with the MCP way, you get one standard protocol, and that means your integrations suddenly become reusable, which gives you the freedom to switch AI models or vendors without having to rebuild everything from the ground up.
Okay, so how does this USB-C for AI actually work under the hood? It's not magic or anything. It's actually built on a really classic and reliable client-server architecture that's surprisingly easy to grasp.
So let's break down the pieces. First up, you have the MCP host. This is the application that needs the data. Think of something like the Claude Desktop app, your code editor, or really any AI tool you're using. It's the consumer in this relationship. It's hungry for context.
Then you've got the MCP server. This is just a lightweight little program that you run, and its job is to expose one specific capability. So you might have one server that gives access to your local files, another one that connects to the Google Calendar API, and maybe a third that can query your company's database. See? Each server has one job, and it does it really well. And the MCP client is the glue that connects these two. Its role is simple. It maintains that direct, one-to-one connection between a host and a server. It's the part that manages the communication, making sure the host can talk to the exact server it needs to.
So when you put it all together, the flow is just 3 simple steps. First, the host, your AI app, says, hey, I need some data. It initiates a connection. Second, the MCP client makes the handshake and connects to the specific MCP server that has what it needs. And finally, that server securely grabs the information and passes it back to the host. It's really clean and simple.
Okay, so we know how it works, but why should you, as a developer or even just as a user, actually care about all this? What are the real, tangible benefits of adopting a standard like MCP?
Well, there are 3 huge advantages here. First, you can immediately plug into a growing ecosystem of pre-built integrations. If someone else already built a server for reading PDF files, awesome, you can just use it. No need to reinvent the wheel. Second, you get incredible flexibility. You can swap out different LLM providers or vendors without having to re-engineer all your data connections. And third, and this one is so important, it helps you secure your data by keeping all the access points inside your own infrastructure following best practices.
All right, this all sounds pretty fantastic, right? So if you're interested, what's your path to actually get started? How can you begin using the Model Context Protocol, like today? Well, the project gives you a few really clear entry points, depending on who you are. If you want to make a new tool or a data source available to AI, you can build an MCP server. If you're building a brand new AI application, you can develop an MCP client that will instantly integrate with all the existing servers. And if you're a user of an app like Claude for Desktop, you can get started right away just by using the pre-built servers that are already available in there. And the best part is, you're not starting from scratch here.
The MCP project is really well supported with official software development kits, or SDKs, in all the major languages like Python, TypeScript, Java, and Kotlin, and they just released a new one for C#. This makes it so much easier for developers to just jump in and start building.
So, at the end of the day, MCP's goal is to move us from this world of custom, brittle connections to a universal standard. A future where connecting our AI to our data is as simple as plugging in a USB-C cable. Which, of course, leaves us with the really big question. What will you build with a universal port for AI?